Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to Hat in Time. So, chronologically, or maybe not chronologically, but numerically, the next thing to do, since we've done the finale for Chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4, is to do Chapter 5, Act 1, which is labeled as the finale. I think this is the end of the main game content before the DLC. We've looked at a little bit of the DLC, but there's also a whole section that we need one more timepiece before we can even enter. And there's a lot of DLC side missions and side quests, and really just a ton of collectibles in general. Here we can see this is a start boss, so Act 1, the finale, which, since this is time manipulation, maybe the finale, you kind of go backwards in things. This feels like this is a mafia town that has been controlled by Mustache Girl for a very long time. It might be that she stole our timepieces, so she's been in charge. Well, I don't want to just stupidly walk into lava. I did walk into something that just killed me. I guess we could put on photo mode for a brief second and see what I just ran into. Alright, I'm looking at Hat Girl. So yeah, it's just an invisible wall back there. Alright. So there might be multiple acts. That's fine. There does seem like there's a collectible down this way. What is this? We have ticket number 153. So people are just gonna wait in line, I guess.
I've been in hot kitchens before, but this is something else. I don't know how you're not breaking a sweat, but I'm really cooking. Maybe you can skip the queue and find out who's the head chef here, kid.
So, characters throughout the game these characters don't connect. Like, in all fairness, let's be honest, not all the characters in the Super Mario games really made sense either. You've got these mushroom-like characters. You've got piranha plants, you've got turtles. So there's definitely... And I'm just gonna die. Die before I even can find this collectible. Was pointing... in kind of a weird sideways direction, down this direction. I wonder if it's just like hidden underground or something. And I'm gonna have to get lower. I guess that's what I'm gonna leave it at, is I'm gonna just assume that that's the case. Because otherwise it doesn't matter.
I'm trying to.
It's just like Time Island covered in lava, only different.
The boss
Yeah.
will get us out of this. DJ Grooves is a star, you know?
Oh, it's so hot out.
We can just talk to these characters and I guess be reminded that they exist for as little as it matters. Let's see what this guy has to say.
How's that soul of yours? Still rattling around in there? I'd love to know who thinks they're a big enough deal to judge me. So I've taken a few 100 souls. Big deal. Do us all a favor, kid. Go check out who thinks they're better than us and hit them. I don't usually advocate that kind of thing, but this is pretty authoritarian.
So, yeah, she's Mustache Girl's just made herself the undisputable ruler of this world.
I'm really not getting to work on time.
And they're being judged, which I don't know if that's to imply that these guys are all dead and I'm supposed to be dead or what. There's no life here, so I may literally just die.
This isn't my menacing oppressive home. Try not to fall in any lava, kid.
Smoke, fire, burning.
Yeah. They needed more characterization. I'd say this guy had some decent characterization. I'd say the devil tried really hard. I would say the conductor, which is the conductor over here? Yes, he is.
You're here too, lass? What is this place? I've never broken a law in my life. Oh, whoever they are, I'm nae gonna be judged by some mustached, heartless, hood-wearing, statue-posing, castle-dwelling, ticket-giving picnic!
I've never done a crime in my life.
The truth though is that they all of them are criminals from the looks of it. So I'm on the side of some good guys. Like I don't think these guys really did anything too bad, but a lot of these are bad guys too. And I unfortunately don't think I can venture, so I think I'll probably just have to jump back into this level later. Maybe we'll get some new hat or ability. Like if we got Mustache Girl's hood and then that gave us some you run faster, you jump higher ability, that would be cool. But I'm not sure it's even something you need. And here we have the birds. Which birds still seem to be your main enemy. Which, honestly, if they were gonna do that, they should have just had birds be your main enemy throughout the entire game. Instead of having Mafia Town be run by human mafia, instead have Mafia Town be run by some kind of some form of, well,
My fellow criminals have not re-emerged from the lava.
okay. I don't think this is gonna work because this is so slow. These guys, these little firefoxes, never actually attacked me. So either I never managed to do what had been required. Like either I
Back of the line ticket.
wow, so full reset. Oh, this is stupid, just run around these guys. That's funny, it reset me, but I'm not gonna bother to do that again.
Give me your back of the line ticket.
Alright. Did I get to a checkpoint, or are we resetting back to the beginning again? Is this just gonna be a frustrating nightmare scenario where at every failure I get reset, much like we had with the exploding train section, which I've practically forgotten even existed. Or at least that. Yeah, if you take damage there, you're not in as bad of a position, because that was only one hit.
Give me your back of the
Meanwhile,
line ticket.
alright, what do we need here? We need to grab this, do the time stop when it's at the right position, and then wait, no, I can't do time stop. Interesting. So I'm just gonna have to I'm gonna have to just hope I can make this, or hope I can throw it. This is a tight jump because you barely, like, you don't have a double jump while you're carrying this. I don't know if this is really worth your effort, honestly. Yeah, it's probably not worth your effort to try and collect that. Like, I've really got to just tell myself, quit trying to play this like an OCD collectible game. This is not going to be a Mario 120 star scenario. It's just not going to happen in this game. It's too demanding. It's also definitely not checkpointing me enough to make me want to play that way.
Give me your back of the line ticket.
These owl guys, by the way, never attacked me. So they're just another example of a enemy that was never an enemy before. Alright. So that would have just been a rift token. And I just want to get out of this area. So let that fire. That's perfectly fine. And then you just reset there. And that wasn't even really a long jump. Alright, so checkpoint, please. This particle beam still not very useful. Okay. And it didn't seem like... Can I get up here?
We criminals can feel relief if not committed.
Alright, let's hit the start button just to see if we had any health issues. So a split path would have been maybe slightly helpful there, but it's kind of late. Seriously, game? Quit it. Alright. This is the Dweller mask. Let's make sure we have it all set. This ain't good. This is not the experience you would expect or want. Alright, so here's the problem with this. You would need something to blow up that. So you basically have to do that and hit that. So that's not the right path to take. That's a fool's errand. You can stand here. That's fine. And honestly, there's really no reason you would have ever played this game using the brewer hat way more than the swinging ability hat. Alright. So I'm just gonna take this and hope I can only take 1 damage. There we go. I don't know if I really need the time stop hat or the other kinds of hats. Take a moment to get our breath. Yeah, this game really had no enemies. The fact that we're just constantly running into the same birds. I had to risk it there. Let's make sure we have the Dweller mask because we're gonna need that. This angle is awkward. These are dash things. Oh, seriously. And I needed that because I can't get through that wall any other way. So checkpoint again, hopefully. These guys never even attacked me before. It's totally wrong for them to be an enemy now. Like, it makes me feel like I didn't even play the game as we're doing this finale. Why is this finale even unlocked and playable if somehow I missed a major section where those owls from the train were going to attack me? And it feels like each one of these hallways probably is just a platforming puzzle to prove that we've learned all the tricks. But let's see. I don't know how long that's gonna go. That guy's just getting burnt in the lava. They're just reusing the same thing we had before. Because that guy was getting burnt in the lava before. Also, during the worst level when lava was flooding Mafia Town. Right, so let's just get rid of those guys. Oh man, that's gonna suck. Because that's totally gonna be a place where I might run into trouble some more. Just be careful. The balloon jumps are gonna be single jumps into a swing, which I double jumped after that point.
I can't get through there. I'm no stunt owl.
And time freeze. Okay. This doesn't seem too bad. Although, let's take it a little bit easier on myself.
I can smell chicken.
Okay. We desperately need health. Is there any health
I can smell chicken.
on either sides of this? No. I don't think so. But there's the health here. Actually, 4 pieces of health, which then makes me wonder, was there some way you could increase your health? And then we've got some artwork of Mustache Grow, which this is all stuff that could have been way better depicted later, earlier on, to characterize her. Like, why not just establish her as the main bad guy throughout the entire game and have me fight her minions up until this point, instead of fighting random bosses. And there's a whole bunch of time pieces. Way more than 40, which is the number you were supposed to have had in
I
total.
didn't punch old man for like 2 days straight that one time.
Oh wow! What a touching story! Just kidding. Bad guy, next!
So she's judging everybody and doing what?
I said next!
So am I a bad guy? Because that's kind of the real question here is, I withheld for a reason that was never explained. I withheld the timepieces from her and told her she couldn't use them to go back and change the past. And I have been beating up on a bunch of people that I think are bad guys, but I'm not sure. I may have also been beating up on good guys. That it's not been thematically explainable. Let's not stand on the platform.
Oh, it's you. You've been kinda a selfish little pest, but you haven't actually stood in my way. You get to go on. You're a good guy, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty much my understanding of her characterization also, which there should have been a lot better writing around Hat Girl so that we actually cared who she was.
Go on! You get to live! Next!
And if this is going to be a cutesy solution like she did with the devil, there's not enough characterization in Hat Girl to know that that's going to be her reaction to every challenge.
Excuse me!
Did we just pump her?
Don't you dare get anywhere near me. I don't think you quite understand who's in charge, little missy. You know, I was willing to forgive you. I once thought we were gonna be best buds. But nope, you turned out to be rotten and selfish. Save the planet from bad guys. Psh, who needs that, am I right? Look at all I've done without you. I've restored justice. I am the justice. No more bad guys. Ever.
Well, with time manipulation, maybe you could actually accomplish that with an infinite amount of effort and
I don't
energy.
need you. This planet doesn't need you. Nobody will miss you, and nobody will care.
See, this would be funny if you got eliminated from the timeline at this point and it somehow caused a chain of events nobody could ever imagine to somehow defeat Mustache Girl.
You are the bad guy, and I'll show you how this justice system deals with bad guys.
Like, clearly she is childish, but she's also a child, so... Like, my charge attacks maybe are hitting her. Undoubtedly, this is going to be another boss fight where it takes a lot of effort.
She can get lost!
I froze time and I was able to attack her.
Mustached girl is not welcome here. Mafia say get lost!
For as little as cutscenes as they have like this, they could have animated the lips pretty easily.
That's right, get lost. No one wants you here. Isn't that right, big lad?
This is kind of a mean thing to say to her, but she is, I guess, the bad guy.
This alternate reality stinks. Get lost.
Get lost! Ain't that right, gang? Get lost! Get lost!
It feels almost like they're translating a much meaner phrase from some other language, because get lost is not particularly offensive in English.
What? But I'm fixing everything. No more bad guys. Oh, why can't you see that I'm doing this for all of us?
So am I gonna have to save her now from the angry mob?
How can you stand behind these people? They're crooks, criminals, and you're helping them. This ends now.
Why am I getting little heart emojis? Alright. So avoid taking damage as is the case, and then freeze time, and now we're just fighting some more. This is a new style of attack, I would guess. It's a little bit different than the trains and beam attacks. Seems like you can mostly damage her pretty well with just flying in the air. For as strong as some of these bosses have been, if they would attack right about now, it wouldn't be bad. Yeah, I'm having to do a lot of hits, but in all fairness, this is going pretty easy on me.
Little hat kid can't even hit evil mustache girl. We have to help.
You got it, lad.
They're just floating in the air, not even standing on anything.
So she'll get lost. Let's roll. Little girl, give us a shove right into that red lass's ugly mug.
Okay. I'm taking too much damage. So unless the game wants to treat me really nicely and give me health. Yep, and it did. She's got some shield on her.
Let's sign a contract, make this girl get lost. Once and for all. All right, let's go. I'll create, you'll throw.
So here's the thing. If this was the way this final boss was supposed to happen, and this was the plan all along, then why didn't we turn these characters over to our sides more thoroughly? Because I really didn't feel like the bad guys I was defeating liked me or were in any way going to be helpful in a final boss fight. And of course, like every other boss fight, I die and then have to start over somewhat. And I don't know at what point am I restarting. Am I at phase 1 or phase 2 and they're just deciding to do different attacks? I don't really even know if this is hurting her in any way. So am I at phase 2 now, or did I move to a new phase? The random attacks. So yeah, we're in phase 1. And there's two, just happens to be 2 phases to that phase 1. Oh, and by the way, her laser beam attack still totally goes through. So she still will hurt me. And I think at this point I kind of just have to dodge. Like that entire phase is, I think, just straight up dodging. And don't jump away from the apple, and then I can throw it at you. Just stay where you are. I need life desperately, and this just sucks. Like, how would you do this with a one-hit kill badge enabled? And if you are going to give me a one-hit kill badge, why not do me the favor of playing with a double your life badge, like, because that would probably be somewhat useful. I mean, I can do this, I suppose, and that will let my abilities like so, my recharge abilities. Like, I think right now I'm in the first phase, and the first phase of 2 phases needed. And I don't know if there is a special thing that needs to be done to get to the second part of this phase, or what. Alright, so this is the difficult part. Don't let this hurt me. And get back this direction. Just kind of hope. So attempt number 2. A lot of these attacks are centering around the idea of they're centering around the idea of having that time stop ability. But it's still not good enough. So I'm a little afraid to find out that there's potentially a lot more to do after the point we've reached. Like, it is possible that I've only reached phase 4 or 5 of a 10-phase fight. Oh, if I hit that with a... Apparently, if I hit the ball with a beam attack, it works. And maybe I have to bounce off the shield once. But you can definitely see there's problems here. In the sense that if you're not good at one trick, you're going to have a bad time. So what I'm hoping is I can shield these guys. And maybe that's the trick, is that if I paused time when it throws yeah, if I get this and then throw that way. Not good. It's been about 45 minutes now. And if this were a Nintendo game, at this point it would be either making it super easy on me, or it would straight up just say, hey, do you want to skip this? In fairness, Mario 64 is a pretty old game, so I don't think there would have been a actual pop-up in Mario 64, or heck, even Galaxy or Sunshine. But I imagine in Odyssey, if you were having an incredibly hard amount, if you're trying 5 or 6 times to beat a boss and you're not doing it, then I think the game would probably start going easy on you. That didn't even give me a full health refill. And it just wants to go through one full cycle before we start this cutscene. You don't have to bounce off of that. I guess the good news that you could take from this is it's probably not a case of this probably is the last phase on second thought, because there really wouldn't be anything more to do, like as far as bosses, because the last boss in the last chapter was the giant owl creatures infected. I'm just gonna try really hard to get one more attack in. Come on. Finally. She just killed a bunch of people?
When Mafia explode, Mafia drop bombs. This gives Mafia an idea.
I need health.
Little Hat Girl need help to turn back time. If Mafia explode, Little Hat Girl get useful pawns.
But they're showing the red
Mafia has
pawns.
to explode to save world.
They're showing the red pawns that are health. I saw green
What?
pawns.
Plan is crazy. Hello, Mafia. No worry. If Little Girl succeed, Mafia come back when time rewinds. Now, punch me with all your might, fellow Mafia. No hesitation. Red-hooded girl, get lost! Hat Girl, here, take these!
Like, I really don't want to have to fight another fight.
Those Mafia lads. So foolishly brave. But what's the point of living if I ain't got me train anyway?
This is kind of a weird way that this is a weird theme. Let's just all kill ourselves to help her.
TJ Grooves. The two of us are gonna help this little hat lass. Get ready for a mean punch. And you aim for my face. That's my weak spot. This angry red lass needs to get lost.
Well, I can only have 4 health at most normally anyways, so them filling me with more hearts probably won't do anything.
What is this? If everyone disappears but me, then I'd be all alone. Bad guys, stop it!
No!
Again, a
you're
very
the bad guy.
childish response. This really feels like it was either written by somebody who doesn't speak English or it was written by a 4-year-old.
Get lost!
My powers are disappearing?
Alright. Well, good news is we probably don't have to we don't have to worry about dying or taking damage. It will just be a matter of can we stop time and can we use that ability to take her out before maybe all the people decide they're gone. It'd be interesting to see if the devil creature can punch himself and turn into hearts, because I would assume he's kind of immortal. At this point, it has turned into a very frantic boss fight. Like, I'm just jumping around, hitting A and X a lot. No real skill there at all. So we've now collected a ball of timepieces, although there's still some timepieces over here and timepieces over there. And we'll step on her for good measure. And hey, let's say, yeah, I could get used to this. What would be interesting is if there turned out to be a collectible in this general direction. I think it's all in the other area. 45 minutes to do that boss fight for one timepiece, I guess. That's all I really got was one timepiece. Now at the beginning of the game they said there were 40. I can definitely tell you that there's more than 40 with the DLC. Pretty disappointing story. Like, honestly, I still hope that a sequel is made, but I do kind of question if it would not be better to, again, oxygen in space. Like, it might be better to try and sell A Hat in Time 2 to a character that let's see, drop the timepiece down and lend the Mafia, the red hooded girl, some timepiece power to defeat the Mafia. You may not be able to make it all the way home. Well, she was selfish and held on to it before. But did I ever learn a lesson here that I shouldn't be able to do that? I'm gonna say no, because as far as the characterization, of which there's been almost none of Hat Girl, it seems like she needs all the power to get home. It would have been really helpful if they had said that before. If it was much more dire situation than it seemed like. So maybe I chose the bad ending. I kind of like Hat Girl does really feel like she is just a child on a spacecraft for no good reason. So we still would need 5 pieces. Which maybe you could trigger the other ending later on. It'd be nice to see her planet and kind of see all of that. But yeah, I would argue that people who have seen this story and played this game, if they're having the similar reaction that I'm having, would be less likely to buy the sequel than people who potentially only have heard about this game and decided that it's not that not as good or as polished as I think it should have been. I imagine if a sequel does get made, though, it will be a lot better.
Hey, kiddo, let's make another contract.
Oh, don't you dare leave, lass!
Like, this is way too sappy. Like, these are all the people you beat, and there was no kind of end story resolution to make them want to be your friends. And honestly, I kind of feel like that is her reaction. Is she just... I don't think she cared too much. She wanted to get home, maybe? But that was it. Oh, she's welling up. This is unearned sentimentality. And almost certainly a lot of my dislike of this sappy ending is around the concept of just how frustrating some of the levels have been in this game. And there's still more to do with the DLC. Yeah. So what I would do is I'd probably introduce Hat Girl, and reintroduce the characters that you think you can actually do something with. But probably eliminate a lot of stuff and just kind of do a soft reboot in the sequel. Like the glitch shopkeeper, he's like a reference to like Twilight Princess or something. He doesn't belong in the game. The cat chef, not enough of a character. The mafia characters, inconsistent there. We need to know if they're bad guys and they will always attack us, or if they're going to be not bad guys. The owl characters are not around enough to matter, particularly that receptionist 3D model. The penguin characters, not around enough to matter, although the DLC may expand on that. The crows, same thing, not around enough. Ooh, can I actually control things right now? No. As the credits are rolling, it does seem like we're already on to voice actors, which I wasn't paying attention, but that does imply to me that there aren't too many programmers involved. The two main characters, the conductor and the DJ, decent enough characters. They could have played a role, whereas none of the characters in this level really mattered other than the devil character, and I just think he's animated wrong, and he's not enough of a focus. And there's that ghost from that one level that we did, another difficult level that we kind of just ran through. The goat characters, same thing. They not characterized enough. The smaller creatures, same problem. The invisible cats, not same problem. The giant bird that showed up just for half a second. Clearly they were going to do more with some of this stuff, and they didn't get around to it. In a lot of ways, if they had just made one goat character a important person in the game, and made him the only goat character in the game, that would be fine. You could also very easily have combined him with the shopkeeper and combined it there. This is probably the DLC, which we haven't even seen at all, the Seal the Deal DLC being added into the credits. Like, there's a whole like squid character we haven't even seen on top of the seals, and a fish character. So they, even in the DLC, they're throwing in more characters. There's several translations being shown here, which makes me kind of wonder, maybe, wow, that didn't even animate right on the Brazilian translation screen. maybe this was like a German game to start with and then got translated to English. Maybe that's where the get lost element happens. I mean, it would be a hard choice. Like, what is the mean thing you'd let characters say if you still want to try to make this feel like a kid's game? Of course, the big problem here, this is the Nankasa Metro DLC section now being shown off. So they probably redid the credits one or two different ways for the DLC. Yeah, if at the very end in the final boss fight they had not realized that this game was too hard for kids, it really just shows a huge lack of understanding. We have a ton of names showing up here because this was a Kickstarter game, and I think that's a major problem here, is that there's way more people who were willing to put money into this project than there were people who were making sure the money was well spent. And that's probably a major factor, if I was to guess. I can never really know as to why they're so inconsistent with the levels, why the levels sometimes feel like 3D platformers, but then sometimes are stealth missions and sometimes are boss fight missions. I don't mind the boss fight missions, except for the fact that every single one of them is way too hard. This could have done with a lot more playtesting, in my opinion. You could have broken every single boss fight into two and made it a lot easier. Alright, so now she's in bed and she has dolls of all these creatures, which almost makes you wonder, and we had seen her playing with dolls of the creatures. It kind of makes you wonder if any of these events even happened, or if she's even in a spaceship, or if this is just a dream sequence. And since you have to weave or stitch the hats with the yarn, I imagine at some point they were planning on calling this a stitch in time. Alright. So that just throws us out. And thank you for being a super fan. You can now start a new adventure with Bo Kid as the main star. So she's effectively the Luigi of the character. Although the problem there is you have an African American looking child. If you wanted to be able to play as that kid, why lock that beyond beating the game? That seems kind of stupid. And as far as jumping back into the game here, before we wrap up this episode, there's still more to do. A lot of load and just a black screen on this. So this section, which is the DLC, is done. So as far as options or skins, it seems like you can't change. Like settings, game settings. No, so you would just have to play the whole game from scratch as Bowtie Girl. Like, that's ridiculous. That's kind of the problem we're constantly running into, is this ridiculous thought pattern that they have that you would really want to play the game over and over again. And so we defeated that, and there was just this one level. Like, this is taking up too much of your time. And maybe for those people who are faster players than me that only spent 12.5 hours, according to howlongtobeat.com, to play this game, maybe they wouldn't have run into the frustrations that I've run into, but I kind of don't think so. So this would be a whole nother section. And put this on, put that on, and that, and that. And we put these together, and it just unlocks a time rift. That's, I forgot what these even did. Cake museum. Fancy metal platform for displaying cakes. What kind of person would just show them off though? They're for eating. I can't reach the one on the top shelf. Right. There's these balls that never play really any role. They're just Unreal Physics engines. Experiments. So almost certainly we will never get any more collectibles other than Rift tokens. It feels like there should be an achievement for running in a circle here in the washing machine. It would be helpful if she had like a picture of her family or something that they referred back to. That way you had more of a more characterization. That's what it really boils down to. Is I'm having a terrible time relating to Hat Girl. I just don't relate to her, so I just don't really like her. I just don't really like the levels individually, at least 50% of the time, and there's just problems. So here's chapter 6, and I guess we'll do the DLC since I already own it, but I could also easily see myself just kind of rage quitting. There's really no more goal as it is. Like buying one more badge, getting a bunch of stickers, and doing the storyline of the 2 DLCs. But all that's really going to do is move forward our number of timepieces we collect to maybe 40. We didn't really get a bad ending for not giving her the timepiece. I guess maybe we would have gotten a slightly different ending. We didn't get a new hat, which makes me just assume there are no more hats to collect, which feels about right because we haven't been collecting any yarn balls at all. We didn't get a new badge, so I don't think there's any new badges. We still have yet to get any new weapons. We didn't get any new sticker. We didn't unlock the Death Wish in any way, so we would still have to do that DLC separately. I have no interest in doing any of this stuff because this is all just stuff not made by the creators of the game. Also, this is all just an additional content that they probably could pay some of the creators of these mods and these elements and take some of that content and make the next game a lot bigger. Yeah, and it really is just beating a dead horse at this point. Like the main problem of this game is that I was expecting Mario 64. I got something that was more like Sunshine, but it takes 45 minutes to get every single star, which is way too long to do a level. Also, I would also argue Mario 64 and Sunshine both had considerably less loading, and there's no good argument for that considering how this is a much more modern game. That's going to be it for this recording though. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.